12 Days of Shipmas. Have you heard of it? OpenAI is in the middle of their 12 Days of Shipmas event. Do you know what it is? Why should you care? In this video, we are going to talk all about it. At the time of this recording, OpenAI just wrapped up day 4 of their 12 Days of Shipmas. During this event, each business days, OpenAI is launching a new feature or a new product, and they're doing a demo for all of us to see the capability of all of these things that they are shipping out to us. They are essentially priming us for 2025 and what to come. Now let's go to day 1. All right, let's have a watch day 1.
So we'll jump right into this first day. Today we actually have 2 things to launch. The first one is the full version of O1. We have been very hard at work. We've listened to your feedback. You like O1 preview, but you want it to be smarter and faster and be multimodal and be better at instruction following, a bunch of other things. So we've put a lot of work into this, and for scientists, engineers, coders, we think they will really love this new model.
And I really agree with what Sam Altman said here. The O1 preview model was really good. The O1 model is going to be exceptional. And he mentioned scientists and engineers are going to love this model, but I believe business owners, especially those in the marketing world, are going to appreciate this model a lot as well. The reason is O1 is really good at providing deep thinking. So if you want us to analyze certain ad campaign for you, or you want it to mimic a certain writing styles and understand linguistically how it works to copy someone else's writing style or even your own. I've done this with the O1 preview and it worked out really great. I can't wait to use the full O1 model to do the same.
I'd like to show you quickly about how it performs. So you can see the jump from GPT 4.0 to O1 preview across math, competition coding, GPQA, Diamond, and you can see that O1 is a pretty big step forward. It's also much better in a lot of other ways, but raw intelligence is something that we care about. Coding performance in particular is an area where people are using the model a lot. So in just a minute, these guys will demo some things about O1. They'll show you how it does at speed, how it does at really hard problems, how it does with multimodality. But first, I want to talk just for a minute about the second thing we're launching today. A lot of people, power users of ChatGPT at this point, they really use it a lot. And they want more compute than $20 a month can buy. So we're launching a new tier, ChatGPT Pro. And Pro has unlimited access to our models and also things like advanced voice mode. It also has a new thing called O1 Pro mode. So O1 is the smartest model in the world now, except for O1 being used in Pro mode.
Earlier, Sam Altman said he's releasing 2 things on day 1. And that was the full O1 model. But then at the same time, he's launching O1 Pro, which according to the chart here, it looks like this is the smartest model yet.
And for the hardest problems that people have, O1 Pro mode lets you do even a little bit better. So you can see a competition math, you can see a GPQA Diamond, and these boosts may look small, but in complex workflows where you're really pushing the limits of these models, it's pretty significant. I'll show you one more thing about the Pro mode. So one thing that people really have said they want is reliability. And here you can see how the reliability of an answer from Pro mode compares to O1, and this is an even stronger delta. And again, for our Pro users, we've heard a lot about how much people want this. ChatGPT Pro is $200 a month, launches today. Over the course of these 12 days, we have some other things to add to it that we think you'll also really love, but unlimited model use and this new O1 Pro mode. So I want to jump right in, and we'll show some of those demos that we talked about. And these are some of the guys that helped build O1 with many other people behind them on the team.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, I'm Hyungwon.
I'm Jason. And I'm Max. We're all research scientists who worked on building O1. O1 is really distinctive because it's the first model we've trained that thinks before it responds, meaning it gives much better and often more detailed and more correct responses than other models you might have tried. O1 is being rolled out today to all Plus and soon-to-be Pro subscribers on ChatGPT, replacing O1 Preview.
O1 model is faster and smarter than the O1 Preview model, which we launched in September. After the launch, many people asked about the multimodal input, so we added that. So now the O1 model live today is able to reason through both images and text jointly.
So this is really huge. Up until now, the O1 preview model only understands text. So whatever you provide it, you need to type out everything in the chat windows for it to understand the context. But now with the full O1 model, you can just upload images and files. It will read through what you're feeding it, and it will be able to work with those files and do deep thinking, deep reasoning with it as context. So their competitor, the DeepSeek R1 Lite model, was able to do that about a week or two ago. So you could upload files to DeepSeek R1 Lite model, images, any files that you have, and it's able to use all of that for its reasoning. So now with the full model being released, you can do the same. It'll be really interesting to see how the O1 model stacked up with the DeepSeek R1 Lite. I'm gonna do a video on that later on to showcase the two models.
As Sam mentioned, today we're also going to launch a new tier of ChatGPT called ChatGPT Pro. ChatGPT Pro offers unlimited access to our best models like O1, 4o, and Advanced Voice. ChatGPT Pro also has a special way of using O1 called O1 Pro Mode. With O1 Pro Mode, you can ask the model to use even more compute to think even harder on some of the most difficult problems.
So essentially, they are launching a new tier, a $200 tier. You get unlimited O1 usage and unlimited advanced voice mode. Now, I understand the $200 a month tier for AI is not for everyone. As you can hear from these teams later on, this is more for power users. When you have a lot of data that you need to crunch, this is the model for you. Or if you're a power user of the advanced voice mode, you're always tapped out of the usage, then the pro mode is for you. Other than that, you still get access to the O1 model in your ChatGPT Plus. That's just a lower tier. You still get everything just at a limited usage base.
We think the audience for ChatGPT Pro will be the power users of ChatGPT. Those who are already pushing the models to the limits of their capabilities on tasks like math, programming, and writing.
It's been amazing to see how much people are pushing O1 preview, how much people who do technical work all day get out of this, and we're really excited to let them push it further.
Yeah, sure. We also really think that O1 will be much better for everyday use cases, not necessarily just really hard math and programming problems. In particular, one piece of feedback we received about O1 preview constantly was that it was way too slow. It would think for 10 seconds if you said hi to it. And we fixed that.
That was really annoying.
It was kind of funny, honestly. Yeah. it really thought, it cared.
Really thought hard about saying hi back to you. Yeah.
And so we fixed that. O1 will now think much more intelligently. If you ask it a simple question, it'll respond really quickly. And if you ask it a really hard question, it'll think for a really long time. We ran a pretty detailed suite of human evaluations for this model. And what we found was that it made major mistakes about 34% less often than O1 preview, while thinking fully about 50% faster. And we think this will be a really, really noticeable difference for all of you. So I really enjoy just talking to these models. I'm a big history buff, and I'll show you a really quick demo of, for example, a sort of question that I might ask one of these models. So right here, on the left, I have O1. On the right, I have O1 preview. And I'm just asking it a really simple history question. List the Roman emperors of the 2nd century, tell me about their dates, what they did. Not hard, but GPT-4o actually gets this wrong a reasonable fraction of the time. And so I've asked O1 this, I've asked O1 preview this. I tested this offline a few times, and I found that O1 on average responded about 60% faster than O1 preview. This could be a little bit variable because right now we're in the process of swapping all our GPUs from O1 preview to O1. So actually, O1 thought for about 14 seconds. O1 preview still going.
There's a lot of Roman emperors.
There's a lot of Roman emperors. Yeah, 4o actually gets this wrong a lot of the time.
So just real quick there, the O1 model, according to the team, at least is taking time to think before it answers, but it also think faster. And so if you're a O1 Pro user, you can force it to think even longer before it gives you an answer.
A lot of folks who rolled for like 6 days, 12 days, a month, and it sometimes forgets those.
Can you do them all from memory, including the 6-day people?
No. Yep, so here we go. O1 thought for about 14 seconds. O1 preview thought for about 33 seconds.
These should both be faster once we finish deploying, but we wanted this to go live right now.
Exactly. So yeah, we think you'll really enjoy talking to this model. We found that it gave great responses. It thought much faster. It should just be a much better user experience for everyone. So one other feature we know that people really wanted for everyday use cases that we've had requested a lot is multimodal inputs and image understanding. And Hyungwon is going to talk about that now.
Yep. To illustrate the multimodal input and reasoning, I created this toy problem with some hand-drawn diagrams and so on. So here it is. It's hard to see, so I already took a photo of this. And so let's look at this photo in a laptop. So once you upload the image into the ChatGPT, you can click on it and to see the zoomed-in version. So this is a system of a data center in space. So maybe in the future, we might want to train AI models in the space.
I think we should do that, but the power number looks a little low.
1 gigawatt.
1 gigawatt?
Yeah, okay.
But the general idea, I think.
Rookie numbers in this
Yeah,
business.
rookie numbers.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a sun right here taking in power on this solar panel. And then there's a small data center here.
It's exactly what they look like.
Yeah. Yep. GPU racks. And then pump, nice pump here. And one interesting thing about operation in space is that on Earth, we can do air cooling, water cooling to cool down the GPUs. But in space, there's nothing there. So we have to radiate this heat into the deep space. And that's why we need this giant radiator cooling panel. And this problem is about finding the lower bound estimate of the cooling panel area required to operate this 1 gigawatt data center.
Probably going to be very big.
Yeah. Let's see how big it is.
Let's see.
So that's the problem. I'm going to this prompt, and yeah, this is essentially asking for that. So let me hit go, and the model will think for seconds.
By the way, most people don't know, I've been working with Hyungwon for a long time. Hyungwon actually has a PhD in thermodynamics, which is totally unrelated to AI, and you always joke that you haven't been able to use your PhD work in your job until today. So you can trust Hyungwon on this analysis.
Finally. Thanks for hyping up. Now I really have to get this right. Okay, so the model finished thinking, only 10 seconds. It's a simple problem. So let's see if how the model did it. So power input. So first of all, this 1 gigawatt, that was only drawn in the paper. So the model was able to pick that up nicely. And then radiative heat transfer only. That's the thing I mentioned. So in space, nothing else. And then some simplifying question.
I mean, after looking at this, our use cases in business become so trivial. I mean, it's like nothing compared to the type of problems this O1 model could work on. This is just crazy good.
Choices. And one critical thing is that I intentionally made this problem underspecified, meaning that the critical parameter is a temperature of the cooling panel. I left it out so that we can test out the model's ability to handle ambiguity and so on. So the model was able to recognize that this is actually a unspecified but important parameter, and it actually picked the right range of temperature, which is about the room temperature. And with that, it continues to the analysis and does a whole bunch of things, and then found out the area, which is 2.42 million square meters. Just to get a sense of how big this is about 2% of the land area of San Francisco. This is huge.
Not that bad.
Not that bad, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess this is reasonable. I'll skip through the rest of the details, but I think the model did a great job making nice, consistent assumptions that make the required area as little as possible. And so, yeah, so this is the demonstration of the multimodal reasoning. And this is a simple problem, but O1 is actually very strong. And on standard benchmarks like MMMU and MathVista, O1 actually has the state-of-the-art performance.
So that's the capability of the O1 model now. Again, our use case in business is not going to be as complicated as what he just demonstrated. It's not a lot of math involved, at least not a lot of complex math. Or if you're coding, O1 is really good at that as well. So yeah, if the use case for us is in its ability to really dig deep and think through multiple angles of a certain problem that we wanted to solve, and then also to help us in coding and making simple tools that we can use in our business. Now we're gonna move on, and we get to see the O1 model in Pro mode, which is the $200 a month tier that Sam Altman mentioned earlier. Supposedly this is the smartest and the best model yet.
Great. So I want to give a short demo of ChatGPT O1 Pro mode. People will find O1 Pro mode the most useful for, say, hard math, science, or programming problems. So here I have a pretty challenging chemistry problem that O1 preview gets usually incorrect. And so I will let the model start thinking. One thing we've learned with these models is that for these very challenging problems, the model can think for up to a few minutes. I think for this problem, the model usually thinks anywhere from 1 minute to up to 3 minutes. And so we have to provide some entertainment for people while the model is thinking. So I'll describe the problem a little bit, and then if the model's still thinking when I'm done, I've prepared a dad joke for us to fill the rest of the time. So
I hope it thinks for a long time.
You can see the problem asks for a protein that fits a very specific set of criteria. So there are 6 criteria, and the challenge is each of them asks for pretty chemistry domain-specific knowledge that the model would have to recall. And the other thing to know about this problem...
Actually, since the O1 model is thinking, let me pull up DeepSeek AI and see if it could solve the same problem. Okay, now that I have the DeepSeek R1 model, let me try and see if it comes up with the same answer as the O1 Pro mode. So it's done, and looks like the answer is CD248. I'm gonna go back to the video and see what it comes out with. So CD248
is that none of these criteria actually give away what the correct answer is. So for any given criteria, there could be dozens of proteins that might fit that criteria. And so the model has to think through all the candidates and then check if they fit all the criteria. Okay, so you could see the model actually was faster this time. So it finished in 53 seconds. You can click and see some of the top.
So the answer of the O1 Pro mode is RS1. So it's clearly different than the other one. Let's hear the explanation here.
Process that the model went through to get the answer. You could see it's thinking about different candidates like neuroligin initially. And then it arrives at the correct answer, which is retinochisin, which is great. Okay, so to summarize, we saw from Max that O1 is smarter and faster than O1 preview. We saw from Hyungwon that O1 can now reason over both text and images. And then finally, we saw with ChatGPT Pro mode, you can use O1 to think about to reason about the hardest science and math problems.
Yep. There's more to come for the ChatGPT Pro Tier. We're working on even more compute-intensive tasks to power longer and bigger tasks for those who want to push the model even further.
DeepSeek R1 was a lot faster than than the O1 model. So since I know the answer now, let me go back and tell it that it's wrong and see what it will do here. Okay, so it says, based on the analysis verification criteria provided, it's clear that both RS1 and CD248 refers to the same protein. Okay. So apparently, both are coming up with the same protein. It's just different name. I'm not sure. If you know what this is, comment below to let me know. Right now, just trying this sample on DeepSeek R1 is arguing that it's coming up with the right answer, just a different name. So to recap, day one, OpenAI launched the full O1 model, the model that could do deep reasoning. Not only that, they also released a new tier called the ChatGPT Pro. It allows you to have unlimited usage of the O1 Pro mode and unlimited usage of the advanced voice mode, which is a huge plus. Now let's take a look at the second day of the 12 Days of Shipmas. The second day is more for developer, but there is something very interesting that business owner should pay attention to. Now let's get to it.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark and I lead research at OpenAI. Yesterday, we took O1 out of preview and we launched it in ChatGPT. We're soon going to launch it in the API. If you haven't been following O1, it's our latest series of model improvements that allow the models to think for a while before they come back with a response. Today, we're really excited to preview our latest advancement in our model customization program. It will let users fine-tune O1 on their own datasets. And again, this isn't standard fine-tuning. This is reinforcement fine-tuning, which really leverages the reinforcement learning algorithms that took us from advanced high school level to expert PhD level for your own use cases.
So this is the interesting point that I wanted to share with you. The O1 model, when they used with API, you can fine-tune it with your own data set. Meaning you have data in your business for certain things, you can fine-tune the O1 model so that it knows how you run your business, how certain processes is. And when you deploy this O1 model to your automations, it already knows information about your business and it knows how to think like your business.
I want to stress again that this is a preview of something that we're going to launch publicly next year. But if you are a university or you're a researcher or you're an enterprise, we'll give you some information on how you can access our alpha program later. So why would you want this thing? Well, it allows you to take your golden data sets and turn them into unique offerings that will give you the same magic that we have for your own users and your own customers. So I'll let John, Julie, and Justin say a little bit more.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is John Allard and I'm an engineer here at OpenAI.
Hi everyone, I'm Julie Wong. I'm a researcher here at OpenAI.
I'm Justin Reese. I'm a computational biologist at Berkeley Lab.
Today, we're so excited to be introducing this new way of model customization for our O1 series of models, reinforcement fine-tuning, or RFT for short. For the first time, developers, researchers, and machine learning engineers will be able to use reinforcement learning to create expert models capable of excelling at their specific tasks within their domain. We believe that any field which requires deep expertise in their AI models stands to benefit. So if you work in, say, legal, finance, engineering, insurance, this one's for you. For example, we recently partnered with Thompson Reuters to use reinforcement fine-tuning to fine-tune O1 Mini to be a legal assistant in their co-counsel AI.
So this is interesting, right? Again, when you train it with your data, you can make a really smart chatbot that could assist you in different things. And what she's talking about right now is they fine-tune the O1 model to be a legal assistant. If you go to the current ChatGPT, a lot of time it doesn't have information from a specific court cases, so it makes things up. It's easy for these large language models to hallucinate. But when you train it over and over and over with specific legal information, it's going to be really, really good at it.
This tool assists their legal professionals in accomplishing some of their most analytical workflows.
Yeah, so some of you will be familiar with the supervised fine-tuning API that we launched early last year. And supervised fine-tuning is really powerful. What you're trying to do is get the model to replicate features that it finds in input text or images. And this is great if you want to change the tone or the style or the response format of the model. Now, with reinforcement fine-tuning, or reindeer enforcement fine-tuning, I should say, with reinforcement fine-tuning, it's different. So you're not just teaching the model to mimic its inputs. What you're teaching it to do is to learn to reason in entirely new ways over custom domains. And the way this works is that when the model sees a problem, we give it space to think through the problem, and then we grade the final answer from the model. And then using the power of reinforcement learning, we reinforce lines of thinking that led to correct answers, and we disincentivize lines of thinking that led to incorrect answers. And what you'll see is that, with as little as a few dozen examples, the model will learn to reason in new and effective ways over custom domains.
That's crazy that you can do that with just 12 examples. That's not something you can do with regular fine-tuning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the space of large language models and large machine learning, a few dozen examples is basically nothing. Yeah, so for the first time, our model customization platform will support reinforcement learning. And notably, this is the same technique that we use internally at OpenAI to train our frontier models, like GPT-4o and the O1 series.
One area with many exciting applications is scientific research. But don't just take our word for it. That's why we're joined today by Justin Rees. Justin is a researcher at Berkeley Lab, and one of his areas of study is using computational methods to understand the genetic causes underlying rare diseases. Justin, thank you so much for being here. Do you mind telling us a little bit more about your research and how reinforcement fine-tuning might help?
Sure, thanks. It's great to be here. So one of the areas of my research is rare genetic disease. So contrary to the name, rare genetic disease is actually not rare. So any one rare disease is rare, but if you put them all together, they're actually quite common. And so we're talking about 300 million people globally who suffer from a rare disease. And what's more, these people often have a long diagnostic odyssey of months to years before they find out about their condition.
Well, it's like the whole population of the US.
Yes, it's not a small number of people. And so what we're working on is better computational tools and methods to really research what's important and to help us understand and treat these diseases. So we do our work in kind of an academic setting and learning more about the rare diseases and their causes. And the hope is we'll be able to advance the healthcare for these folks going down the line. And now, assessing rare disease is kind of hard because you kind of have to have two things. You have to have sort of expert domain knowledge about the medical side of things, and you also have to have sort of systematic reasoning over the biomedical data. And this is an area where we think that the O1 model can really help us out with its reasoning capabilities.
That makes a lot of sense. Our large language models have domain knowledge, and our O1 models are really systemic reasoners. So it seems like now there's a pretty good computational method for addressing some of these.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the data sets that you're using?
Sure. So this was sort of a collaborative effort between our group and Charité Hospital in Germany and Peter Robinson's lab and the Monarch Initiative. And what we did really was to extract disease information from hundreds of scientific publications that were case reports about rare disease. And so we sort of curated the information, and that's lists of signs and symptoms that were present in the patient and that were excluded in the patient, and then of course the disease that they had, and importantly for this conversation, the causative gene that was mutated that was causing the problems in these folks.
I see. So you and maybe some doctors are trying to figure out, given a patient's symptoms, what gene might have mutated to cause those symptoms.
Yeah, that's right. And so something we've been working on together with the OpenAI team is training the O1 models to reason more effectively about the causes of disease.
Incredible. Thank you, Justin. We're now going to give you a preview of reinforcement fine-tuning at work. And not to steal any thunder, but we're going to take O1 Mini and make it exceed the performance of O1 on this task. That's the O1 that we just launched yesterday. And this matters so much because O1 Mini is a smaller, faster, and cheaper model than O1.
Yeah, so using Justin's dataset, we're going to show you can just drastically improve the performance of O1 Mini on this task where, given a list of symptoms, you're trying to predict which gene might be responsible for the genetic disease. And so to give an overview of this process, we're going to start by looking at datasets that are used to train the model and graders that are used to evaluate the model. And then we're going to launch a training job on OpenAI's training infrastructure. And finally, we'll evaluate the resulting fine-tuned model so we can see how it's improved over the base model that we started with. So to start us off, we're going to jump over to the OpenAI development platform, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new model. So We've had supervised fine-tuning for a bit over a year now. What we're going to do is we're going to select reinforcement fine-tuning.
So what we're looking at right now is not the normal ChatGPT windows. This is the backend where you can train OpenAI or get to play with the OpenAI's API.
Now, we're going to be training O1, so we'll select that as the base model. And now we need to upload a training data set. And now, training data sets, they're just JSON-L files, which is just a file where each line in the file is an example that you want the model to be trained on. For this case, Justin and his colleagues assembled a data set of about 1,100 examples. And so I'll go ahead and upload that one. And just so that we get a really good feel for how this data set works and what this task is, we'll zoom in on an individual data point really quickly. And so this is what an individual data point looks like. And there's really three important things here. So the first is the case report. And this is a description of the patient and the patient's symptoms. So we see that the patient was a 51-year-old woman. The disease onset was not specified. We have a list of symptoms like hypertelorism, hyperparathyroidism, and others. As Justin said earlier, we have the absent symptoms. These are the symptoms that are not present. And this is important because it helps the model to rule out genes that it might think would otherwise be responsible for the symptoms that are present. Next, we have the instructions. And I'm sure if you're watching this live stream, you're familiar with prompting. And so all we're doing here is just prompting the model for what we want it to do for this task. And so what we're saying is, given the list of symptoms and the case report, can you list all the genes that you think might be responsible for the genetic disease that you think is present? And then we also ask it to provide an explanation for why it thinks those genes might be responsible. Finally, we also have the correct answer. And so this is the gene that we happen to know is responsible, but importantly, we're not showing this to the model during the training process. That would be cheating, but we're using it internally during the training process to grade the model's outputs or to check if the model is correct.
This is a pretty hard task. I definitely have no hope of answering this question.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that we've come up far away from just trying to count the number of R's in the word strawberry. Yeah. So, now when we give the model this prompt, this case report and these instructions, the model is going to output something like this, which is a list of genes that it thinks might be responsible. And importantly, the genes are in sorted order, where the first gene in the list is the one that it thinks is most likely to be responsible, the second one in the list is the one that it thinks is second most likely, and so on and so forth. Cool. So we'll hop back over. And so next we need to upload some validation data. And validation data, it's going to be in the exact same format as the training data. But importantly, there's no overlap in the correct genes between the validation data set and the training data set. And what that means is that the model can't cheat. It has to, or it can't learn to just memorize a list of symptoms and associate those with the gene. It has to actually generalize from the training data set to the validation data set.
Gotcha. So, I mean, where's the reinforcement part come in? We talked about grading. Is that part of the process here?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So grading is done by this concept of graders that we're introducing here. Mm-hmm. And so graders are really simple. What a grader does is it takes the output from the model, and it takes the correct answer, and it compares them, and it returns a score between 0 and 1. And so 0 means that the model did not get the answer correct at all, and 1 means the model got the answer correct. Mm-hmm. And you can also give partial credit, so it can be anywhere in that range. So for this specific task, we have a grader that looks like this. So it takes the correct answer that we happen to know, and it takes the output from the model, which is the list of genes, and it produces a score. So in this case, FOXY3 is the correct answer. It was second in the list of genes, and so it gets a score of like 0.7.
I see. So if it had instead said Foxy3 was first in the list, I would have gotten a grade of 1?
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And then as it gets further and further along the list, the score kind of gradually decays to 0.
Nice. Makes sense. But what if I have a task that isn't, grading a ranked list? Do we have other graders that are more general?
Yeah. So we're supplying kind of a collection of graders that we think pretty effectively cover the space of possible intents that you might have for while doing reinforcement fine-tuning, and we're always adding more.
Yeah, and eventually we're gonna hopefully let you define your own graders.
Yeah, maybe like upload a Python file or something and do some custom grading. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So custom grading is really good when you're building out your workflow, especially you're building out your AI assistant or AI agent. You have, let's say, a set of really good quality output, and let's say those outputs are articles that you have written or tweets or Facebook posts that have gone viral, and now you're asking this model to grade against a certain framework that you have come up with those posts. You can train your AI model to do that. Well, at least that's how I think it would apply to business owners' use cases. So that was day 2. It's geared toward developer and people who work with OpenAI's API. For business owners like us, and if you're not building any automations, just know this. Now we have the ability to fine-tune the O1 model to think and reason with our own unique dataset. As you heard in the video, they fine-tune a legal assistant to help associates with legal issues. Now let's move on to day 3 of OpenAI's 12 Days of Shipmas.
Hello, and welcome to day 3. This is a launch we've been excited for a long time. We're going to launch Sora, our video product. And we'll talk a lot about why this is so important and so exciting, but first, it's so cool, we just want to show it to you. So we'll look here at a little bit of what the Sora product looks like. This is the feed. You can see videos that users have been generating. And we'll talk.
So if you don't know, Sora is OpenAI's video generator. This is text to video generations. So just like DALL-E was for text to image generation, Sora is the model for video. Just know that what we're getting right now with this launch is we're getting the version 1 of Sora. It's still very good, but this is just the beginning.
I'll talk much more about this later, but just couldn't wait to show you a little bit. So video is important to OpenAI for a lot of reasons, but I'll talk about 3 here. 1, we love to make tools for creatives. It's important to our culture. It's important to how we hope humans will use AI. And this is one in particular where there's a new kind of co-creative dynamic that we're seeing emerge between early testers that we think points to something interesting about AI creative tools and how people will use them. Second, we don't want the world to just be text. If the AI systems are, primarily you interact with by text, I think we're missing something important. We want our AIs to be able to understand video and generate video, and I think it really will deeply change the way that we use computers. And third, this is critical to our AGI roadmap. Video will be an important environment where we're going to learn, or the AI is going to learn a lot about how to do things that we need in the world. So I'm going to hand this over now to Aditya, who leads Sora, and Bill, who leads Sora Research. They're going to tell you a little bit about what went into this. And then after that, we will have the product team come up.
Thanks, Sam. Guys, today is finally the day that Sora will be available. We're launching Sora both in the United States as well as most countries internationally later today. You can access the model at sora.com. This is a completely new product experience from OpenAI, built for the ground up for video generation. The best part is that if you have a ChatGPT Plus or Pro account, that's all you need to get started. You don't have to pay extra for Sora. We're including it in the accounts you already have. To do a deployment this broad, the Sora research team had to do a ton of work finding ways to make the February model we previewed way faster and cheaper. They really delivered, and today we're launching Sora Turbo. This is a new high-end accelerated version of that original Sora model, and it has all the capabilities that we talked about in our tech report on world simulation earlier this year. This includes things like generating videos from text, animating images, and a ton of video-to-video features, like remixing into new styles, extending forwards and backwards in time, etc. Some other folks are going to show you this in just a few minutes. As Sam alluded to, we started the Sora project at OpenAI to build AI systems that really deeply understand the world and its physics. We're really just getting started here. This early version of Sora will make mistakes. It's not perfect, but it's already at the point where we think it's going to be really useful for augmenting human creativity, and we can't wait to see what the world is going to make with Sora starting later today. Aditya?
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm really excited for this release. OpenAI has had a multi-year-long history of training state-of-the-art models that have pushed the boundaries of what's possible to do with visual generation. However, we feel like for further advances in visual generation, we need breakthroughs both in machine learning and in human-computer interface design. So it's for that reason that I'm really proud of the product that we've built, and I'd like to hand things over to Rohan and Joey, who can tell you more about it.
Hey, Rohan.
They have a big team.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, what's
All
up,
right.
Sam?
I'm excited to show this product off. Go ahead.
Let's do it. I'm Rohan. I lead our Sora product team.
And I'm Joey. I'm the product designer on Sora.
All right, Joey, get us started.
All right. I'll kick it off by talking a little bit more about Explore. Explore is the place for inspiration. It's a feed of videos shared by the community where everyone can come together and explore the capabilities of this powerful new model. And we know that these models...
So this is like Mid-Journey, where you're able to see generations from other users, and you get inspired by what other people are creating on that platform. Not only that, with Mid-Journey, you can copy the prompt from other generations to help you either create your own or let you modify and build upon someone else's prompt. So I imagine with this, Sora is allowing us to do the same.
Especially the first time you use them, it can be hard to understand just everything that you can do with them. So creating a space where people can come together, learn, share techniques, share methods, felt really exciting, but also really important to us. And so you can see just scrolling through here, you can be inspired by all of these amazing videos. And I saw one up here. If you see one that's particularly interesting to you, you can click into it and view it in a lightbox. And at the bottom of this lightbox, it'll show you the exact method that was used to create this video.
So there you go. He just mentioned that if you click on a video, you're able to see the prompt that someone else used to create that video. So this one right here is movie trailer of an astronaut exploring hostile terrain on a newly discovered planet cinematic. Okay, and I'm guessing this is from a game. It looks like a video game to me, so it could be footage from video games that they use to train this, or maybe use something like Unreal Engine to make this.
Whether it's simple text prompt, an image extension, video extension, or one of our other more powerful creative tools, you can take this methodology and learn how to incorporate it into your own creative workflow. So without further ado, I'll kick it back to Rohan to do our first generation.
All right, let's head to our library. You can think about this as your home base in Sora, where you can view all your generations. You can slice the view here a couple different ways. A grid view, a list view. You can create folders, you can favorite things, look at bookmarks from the feed. All minor organizational touches, but show that we really care about empowering storytelling and real use of this product. All right, down here you'll see our simple composer. Here you can create a video by simply describing it with text or uploading an image. Sam, you got an idea for us?
How about some woolly mammoths walking in the desert?
All right, woolly mammoths walking through the desert. Love it. Let's say woolly mammoths walking through a desert landscape. Let's maybe make it a wide shot. Cool. Before we fire this off, I want to touch on some of the options you'll see down here. Aspect ratio. So Sora can generate from horizontal aspect ratios to square to vertical. It can generate in resolutions from 480p up to 1080p. It can generate from 5 seconds up to 20-second videos. And you can also generate multiple variations at once. So you might not know exactly what you want out of this description, and Sora might take in a couple different directions. You might not know exactly what you want out of this description, and Sora might take in at once. So you might not know exactly what you want out of this description, and Sora might take in a couple different directions. Variations let you know exactly what you want out of this description, and Sora might take in a couple different directions. Variations let you see a couple of options. We'll do a 4-video variation here. And last but not least, there's presets. Sometimes you might find an aesthetic or style that you really love, and you want to capture that in a reusable component and apply it to a ton of generations. You can do that. You can create your own. We have a couple defaults here. Stop motion, Balloon World. That's a crazy one. Highly recommend it. But let's fire off this gen. And then I'm going to hand it back to Joey to talk about Storyboard, another really awesome feature we have.
Awesome. Thank you, Rohan. So Rohan just showed how you can take a general idea and send it to Sora and have it create an entire set of beautiful videos. But today we're excited to talk about an entirely new creative tool that we're introducing, a more advanced tool that's still very early, but something we're calling Storyboard, that lets you direct a video with multiple actions across a sequence using a familiar timeline. So I'll click in right here, and I'll tell you a little bit about Storyboard. At the top of the screen, you see the Storyboard cards. This is where you'll describe the environment the characters, and the actions you want to occur at a particular point in your video. Below that is the timeline. You can see the outline of my entire clip, and this is where I'll sequence the actions in my video. And then below that is the creation settings that Rohan just went over. So I'll pop back up to the storyboard, and I'll set my first storyboard card in the scene. So I'll say, a beautiful white crane stands in a creek. Let's give it a yellow tail. Stands in a creek. So here, I can write as little or as much as I want. And the less I write, the more Sora will fill in the details. And the more I write, the more Sora will try to adhere to my direction. So in this video, I want this crane to be standing at the beginning and then dip its head in the water and pick out a fish. So I'll come down to my timeline, and I can click anywhere within the outline of my clip to add an additional card and give Sora those actions. So I'll come up here and I'll say, the crane dips its head into the water and pulls out a fish. So looking back at my timeline, I can now see at the start of my timeline, I've set the scene, and then at 5 seconds, the crane will dip its head into the water. And you'll notice that there's space between these two cards within the outline of my clip. That space is important for Sora to connect this first set of actions with the second set of actions. I can always adjust where I want these actions to occur, but giving Sora adequate time to connect these ideas is really important if you want a continuous shot. You can also have it make cinematic cuts by moving them closer, or move them further away and let Sora do even more filling in of the details. So I'll move this back to 5 seconds, and I'll fire it off. And we can review this in a minute, but there's one more storyboard feature I want to show that's really, really cool. And that's using image.
So this right here is really powerful for us, business owners and marketers. You see how easy it is for you to start creating ads, right? If you have an idea in your mind, you can now have Sora create that video for you. Or even better, you can have ChatGPT come up with the script, describe the scene, and just come in here, have it spits out the storyboard for you. Then have Sora generate the video to use in your ads. You can literally have hundreds of variations of your ads and just test to see which one works.
To create video. So in this first storyboard card, I'll go ahead and upload an image that I have on my desktop. This image is of a lighthouse. And you can see that Sora automatically put that first image into the first card, and then it created an entirely new card. And this is a continuation caption. Sora has looked at that image, and it has added an additional, in understanding the movement that we might want to make with this image, and it has filled out a caption to continue, or to turn this image into a beautiful video. So much like with the text, I can come up here and edit anything in this card. I can adjust its position. But for now, we'll fire this off and we can see how it looks. So I'm going to kick it back to Rohan to review some of these videos that we made.
Let's do it. Let's see. Let's check out those woolly mammoths. Let's see what we got here.
Amazing.
Pretty good. Pretty good. So here we can hover over our variations of this generation, kind of get a feel for which one we might like best. And then we can continue to refine this with Sora. So I think I like maybe top right.
Me too.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look at the top right. Now, this is cool, but now that I'm seeing the scene, I think it would be cooler if these woolly mammoths were robots. What do you guys think?
Great.
All right, let's do it. So Remix lets you just describe changes to the video, and Sora will do the rest. So I'm going to click Remix here and simply say, replace the woolly.
So what I want to point out to you is how good the shadow is with the main subject, which is the woolly mammoth. This is why Sora is incredible. A lot of other text-to-video models or tools, their shadows, if you were to create something like this, the shadow doesn't really match the main subject or doesn't stick with the main subject. But here you can see that the sun is somewhere up here at the upper left corner, and the shadow is in the right position. This is incredible.
Mammoths with robots. You'll see a couple familiar options here. You can create multiple variations. You can change the resolution. You can also tell Sora the strength of the remix you want. So if you want a big change in the scene, this is probably a significant change, we'll tell Sora, hey, give us a strong remix. If it's something subtle, like say you just wanted a little bit more wind in this background of the scene or more sand kicking up, you could go with a mild or subtle remix. For now, we'll kick off a strong remix. All right, should we take a look at your storyboard, Jens?
Let's see how the cranes came out.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So here, let's pop into one of these and we can see. All right, so we see about halfway through, my crane is dipping its head into the water. You can see if it grabs a fish. Oh, looks like it missed on that one. You can review another one of these too. But you see that Sora has taken my direction, and it's...
Just look at how incredible that splash was. How realistic it was. And the reflections here of the crane as well.
done a pretty good job at understanding exactly where it wants to go. And both of these cranes, they may have missed the
It got a little fish, that one.
Yeah, it got a little fish. But this is, again, something I want to point out, which half of the story with Sora is taking a video, editing it, and building on top of it. So the beginning of this video, right when the crane's head splashes in, I love this part. So I'm going to go ahead and use another editing tool here called Recut that allows me to take my video, trim it down, and extend it in a storyboard with even more direction. So clicking Recut has taken me into a new storyboard, and Sora has imported this video of the crane, and now I can see on the timeline my video here. I can scrub through it to review it, and I can also trim my video. So I think I like, actually I'm gonna take this first few seconds right until its head splashes into the water. I like that. And so much like in the other storyboard examples, any area that I leave empty here, Sora will seamlessly continue from whatever storyboard card I have in there. So if I want an entirely new ending, I can leave the end blank and I can go ahead and hit create. If I want an entirely new beginning, let's say I wanted this at the end of my scene, I can leave this here and maybe the camera will stay on the crane for a little bit more in the beginning. I can also move it into the middle and generate entirely new endings and beginnings for all of my videos. And much like the rest of the storyboard, I can always click to add more cards and give it more a direction. So let's generate a new ending to this video and we can see how it turns out.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Joey. While that's going, let's see if we got some robots. Oh my God, we did.
Amazing.
All right. We'll see that Sora here.
Oh, these are sort of like woolly mammoth-ish robots.
Yeah.
You see how the woolly mammoth changed now to robots, and the shadows now are looking like this robot. They don't look like the woolly mammoth anymore.
It's kind of cool. So yeah.
That one walks like amazing, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. It's amazing. So Sora took our prompt of replacing the woolly mammoths with robots and did just that. We click in, we can see the original one here. This is a strong remix, and we replaced the woolly mammoths with robots. Pretty awesome. Let's take a look at a couple other features. Actually, quickly, let's look at your image-to-video generations here, Joey. Pretty cool. Some nice ambiance with this lighthouse.
That top right one's pretty nice.
Yeah, you get a couple different shots here with different sort of camera motion. And as you can see, you might not know exactly what you want. You could throw an image in there and see what Sora does.
This one on the top right looks like a DJI Flycam just did a flyover shot. This is amazing. It's from one image.
Kind of like this bottom right one rather. I think it would be cool as a loop. So one of our awesome features is, if you really like a generation, you can tell Sora, hey, I want this to endlessly repeat because it's so beautiful. And you can do just that with loop. So if you click into loop, you can tell Sora, where do you want the start of this loop to be? Where do you want the end of it to be? And Sora will fill in the gaps to create this sort of seamless repeated scene. You have a couple options here. Sora can add fewer frames if the beginning and the end are already pretty similar, or you can tell it to add lots of frames to try to connect maybe two more disparate beginning and endings. But Sora will do the heavy lifting. It's a really, really awesome feature. A lot of the artists in our alpha really love Loop. Cool. Last but not least, I just want to quickly touch on another feature, Blend. So you can think about Blend as giving Sora 2 scenes, and Sora will create a net new scene that is a cohesive version of both of those. It's almost like smashing 2 videos together in another dimension and then bring it back to this one. I'd never seen anything like it until I used Blend with our model. So if you click into Blend, you can choose another video from your library. We could blend the robots with the woolly mammoths. That could be a cool one. And there's a couple options here. I won't go into a ton of detail right now, but long story short, you can kind of dictate to Sora how you would like it to sort of blend these 2 scenes together. Some really awesome advanced features for our heavy users and power users trying to make a lot of awesome creations.
Can we do that one?
Yeah, we can run this one for sure. I think, translation blend is probably a good one for the woolly mammoths and the robots. Let's run it. All right, awesome. Cool. So to wrap it all up, I'm going to come back to the featured feed. And you'll remember Joey was scrolling through these videos earlier. You might have seen at the bottom, storyboard. Now you know what that is. You can kind of uncover each of these generations in the feed and see how they're created. I love the feed because you can just find inspiration and then run your own remix of someone else's video.
In addition to the inspiration, I just find it so compelling to just watch. It's amazing what people are doing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is wild. And that's Sora. That's kind of the end-to-end product. We're really excited to see what you create and add more features here and do something amazing, do more amazing things with Sora. But Sam, you want to tell us about availability?
Yeah, so this is going live today in most of the world, except most of Europe and the UK. Will be a while. We're going to try our hardest to be able to launch there, but we don't have any timing to share yet, and there's some other countries.
So this is very unfortunate. In Europe and UK, many European countries have rules and regulations that don't allow something like Sora yet to citizens of their countries. However, I know many people have in the past bypassed these rules and regulations by just using a VPN. Right now, that's your best bet if you want to get access to Sora and you're in some of these European countries.
Countries that we're not able to operate in. If you have an OpenAI Plus subscription, you get 50 generations a month. If you have an OpenAI Pro, you get unlimited generations in our sort of slow queue mode and 500 normal, faster generations. You can also get fewer generations at the higher resolution. So
at 480p, ChatGPT Plus users get 50 generations a month. And the ChatGPT Pro, you're paying $200 a month for the Pro tier to get the best of the best O1 Pro mode, along with unlimited advanced voice mode. Now you also get unlimited Sora's generation in the slow queue. They're making a solid case for upgrading to the Pro tier.
And anybody with any account can just enjoy the feed. We're really excited to see what you all will create. We're really excited to see kind of all of the new ways that this sort of new kind of entertainment and tool will be used. You all did incredible work on this. I'm super proud of the team. I love the product. Any closing thoughts?
Joey and I are just representatives of an amazing team here. I just want to shout out the research team that built this incredible model and got it to a place where we could actually serve it to the world. And our product team is a group of 5 or 6 product engineers that built this entire product in a matter of months.
This is insane. A group of 5 or 6 engineers that built Sora in a couple of months. That's insane. They released a demo of Sora in February of this year, and it took the world by storm. I mean, a lot of other companies just kind of put out their model and had the same generation like Sora. It's just trying to see how their versions stack up to Sora. So before this product launch, it was already the standard. So that was day 3 of OpenAI 12 Days of Shipmas. They launched Sora for everyone to use. Now, as of right now, I still haven't had access to my account yet. It looks like people all around the US, around the world, are storming to that website, and I just unfortunately don't have access to it yet. But when I do, I will be creating another video to compare that model with Kling AI, which I've been using for a while. Now, let's talk about day 4. This day, they launched a feature that is similar to Anthropic's Claude, which is Canvas. Now, Anthropic had artifacts for a while where you can have it write code, and then you can have it deploy the code for you, or write apps rather. And now OpenAI is finally releasing something similar. Let's have a look.
Hey everybody, and welcome to day 4. I'm Kevin, I lead product at OpenAI. So yesterday we launched Sora, and the demand has been off the charts. The team was working late last night. They were in already this morning. We are doing everything we can to get you access to Sora as soon as possible, and we can't wait to see what you create. Today, though, we're talking about Canvas, which is a product that we've had in beta for Plus users for the last couple months. Canvas allows you to collaborate with ChatGPT on writing and coding that goes beyond simple chat. So we're launching 3 things today. First, we're bringing Canvas to everybody and integrating it into our main model so it just works. Second, we're enabling you to run Python code inside your canvases, and so you see the output, whether it's text or graphics. And third, we're bringing Canvas to custom GPTs, so you can imbue all of your custom GPTs with the power of Canvas. So with that, let's dive in.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Hey everybody, my name is Lee, and I'm an engineer helping you collaborate with ChatGPT.
Hey everyone, my name is Alexei, and I'm also a product engineer working on ChatGPT. So Lee, are your kids excited about Christmas coming up?
Oh boy, yes. I thought it'd be fun if we could maybe make a story for them, Christmas story, and use Canvas. Try it out.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. So if I go to ChatGPT, you'll notice starting today, there's a new button in the Composer that lets us see all the tools available, one of which is Canvas. So I'm going to click that. And now anything that I type here is going to create a canvas. So let's write that story. Help me write a Christmas story about silly elves for my kids. And I'm going to send that off to ChatGPT, and it's going to get started right away on making a canvas for us. So there's a handful of things that we should explain what's going on here. The most significant thing that's different is you have this side-by-side view, where on the left is the chat, as you're used to it, and on the right is Canvas. And in Canvas right now, ChatGPT is busy writing the story for us. This is pretty different from what would happen if you...
This is very similar to Anthropic Claude, the artifact feature. In Claude, you already have something like this, and Canvas is similar. It's basically ChatGPT's answers to Claude's artifact. However, one thing that Claude was able to do before today that ChatGPT was not able to do was to write and deploy code. As you'll see later on, that will explain that you can now have ChatGPT write code and then also deploy it.
You wrote this kind of prompt before. ChatGPT is good at doing this sort of creative writing work, but it would write it directly inline in chat. And sometimes it's hard to piece out what's the document and what's the preamble or the what comes after, or especially if you wanted to make any changes along the way, things tend to get lost. But now you have this side by side. So let's take a look at what ChatGPT made for us. The silly elves and the Christmas catastrophe.
Oh no, not a catastrophe.
In the snowy village of Tinseltown, nestled at the edge of the North Pole, lived the silliest group of elves you ever could imagine. All right, this is looking pretty good. I could make some changes. I think this title is a little long, so I'm gonna, maybe take this part out. Actually, otherwise this is pretty good.
So ChatGPT can edit, and you can edit sort of side by side.
Yeah, so I can type in here, I've been editing the title, I'm kind of making it for my kids. So this is a collaborative document, and just like you might be used to in other document editors, you can come in here, you can add text, you can bold text, you can do lots of things you can do in other document editors. You can edit, ChatGPT can edit. I could go over back to chat, and just similar like I would do in any other ChatGPT workflow, I could give it feedback, I could ask for changes, and it's going to come in and make those changes directly into the canvas. But rather than show you that, I thought it'd be interesting to show this button in the bottom corner, which has a handful of commonly used shortcuts that's based on things that we know people do in ChatGPT. Suggest edits, ask ChatGPT for feedback about what we might want to change about this. Adjust the length, might make this longer or shorter. Maybe I want a shorter bedtime story. Reading level will change this to make it more sophisticated language or simpler language in case I wanted to make it easier to read for my younger kids. Add final polish is really helpful, especially when you bring your own content. Check for spelling mistakes, grammar, things like that. And then add emojis. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we love emojis.
All right, well, let's try it. So if I click add emojis, I've got some options about where I want to put them, words, sections, lists. Let's try words. I click that, and ChatGPT is going to get to town putting emojis into my doc.
Look at that.
So what you're seeing here is ChatGPT now making a revision to the document in Canvas. It's starting at the top, it's writing a new version of the doc, and it's sort of streaming in on top of the previous version, just to make it a little bit easier to see in context what's changing. And alongside this in the chat, you're seeing that it's editing, and you're noticing that we have our instructions back and forth. But otherwise, it's not getting sort of cluttered up with the different revisions that are happening.
Kind of looks like when my 8-year-old gets a hold of a phone.
Yeah, I think your kids are going to love this, Lee.
There's definitely a lot of emojis that I put in here that did a pretty good job. OK, so that's how you get started with Canvas. Canvas will trigger in a couple.
So what you saw there, they essentially are using ChatGPT the same way you would do in a Word document. You maybe have ChatGPT write a sales letter for you or write a social media post for you. Then you can, within that document with its Canvas feature, you can have it edit right there and then, and you can collaborate with ChatGPT in a way that you weren't able to do before.
Couple different scenarios. You can ask ChatGPT to just start collaborating with you on a piece of content, whether it be writing or code, and it will open a canvas for you automatically. Or like I just did here in the interface, I'll show you again, is this button in the composer to view the tools. You just click canvas, and that's going to create a new canvas every time.
Amazing. So in addition to storytelling, a lot of people use ChatGPT to help with their own writing. Learning how to be a good writer is hard, and today we're really excited to showcase some new features in Canvas to make it easier to get feedback on your work. So in my spare time, I'm a bit of a physics enthusiast, and so I have an essay here that I've been working on titled Santa's Sleigh, Exploring the Role of Dark Energy in Reindeer Propulsion. I'm going to copy this from my, from my text editor and paste it into the prompt area in ChatGPT. Because I put in a substantial amount of text, we now have a new button in the upper right that says Open in Canvas. If I click this, the content from the prompt is put into the canvas, and this is the same editable surface that Lee was demonstrating.
So could you bold that title maybe?
Yeah, so I can go in here and make a change if I wanted to before I send it off to ChatGPT.
So before this editing feature, if you wanted to make a bold letter, you would have to use Markdown format so that you can send that format to ChatGPT so it understands that you want to bold that heading. Now you can just hit Control-B apparently.
But so this hasn't been sent yet. So when you made that bold change, what just happened?
Correct, yeah, this is all still a draft document. Yeah. So until I send a message, I can edit it as much as I want, and ChatGPT hasn't seen it yet.
And it's attached to the composer.
Exactly. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you leave some comments on my essay from the perspective of my physics professor?
Nice. OK, so maybe it's going to give you some technical tips.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what it comes back with. But previously, it would be hard to connect what the feedback ChatGPT is giving you to your own work because it would all be inline in the chat. But now with Canvas, ChatGPT is able to select specific portions of your work and leave comments inline, which makes it really easy to connect what the suggestions are to your work.
Yeah, I'm looking at these. These are pretty good feedback. Consider linking this introduction more explicitly to the scientific exploration of dark energy to immediately establish the physics connection. But it didn't just like respond to that in chat. It selected Santa's sleigh and his flying reindeer have long fascinated people, blending mystery and magic. OK, so it's like picking out sentences that it wants to give you feedback on and then writing the specific feedback per sentence.
Exactly. And each of these comments, I can have an apply button. And so clicking apply would allow ChatGPT to go through and apply the edit as it sees fit. And of course, I could then reject that edit if I wanted to. But since this is my own essay, I'm going to go in here and make changes on my own. So I like this comment. You may elaborate briefly on why dark energy is mysterious to provide context. I'm going to say we don't know, why the universe expands, and we don't know why Santa is so fast in his sleigh. I'm curious about these. Cool.
The mysteries of the universe.
The mysteries of the universe. I'm going to dismiss this comment because I feel like I've addressed it.
Yep.
And when I'm ready to take my essay out of ChatGPT, I can click this copy button and send it off to my professor.
Great. I'm sure your professor is going to love these changes.
You know, this is some cutting edge research here. But in addition to writing in ChatGPT, we know a lot of people also use it for programming. And we've made some really exciting improvements to programming in Canvas as well.
Let's check it out.
So I've also been helping Santa with some logistics for toy manufacturing. And I've been learning some data science tools in Python.
So you're an OpenAI engineer. You're also a dark energy researcher, and you're helping Santa with logistics.
Yeah, I mean, Santa can be everywhere at once. We really try to as well here at OpenAI.
Okay, got it.
So I have some example code that I've been working on locally. So this is my local IDE, but something's not working, and I want some help debugging it. I'm going to copy that and then paste it into ChatGPT. I see the same Open in Canvas button. I click that, and now I have a canvas open, but this time it's actually a code editor. So ChatGPT has recognized that this is Python code. I get Python syntax highlighting, and even some basic autocomplete.
Nice.
I know this code isn't working, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you help me debug this code? What might be going wrong? ChatGPT sees the code, looks like it identifies that plot.label does not exist in matplotlib. It provides an example corrected code. We could trust this and take it back locally, but one of the new features we want to demonstrate today is the ability to actually run your Python code within Canvas. So in the upper right, we have this button titled Run. Let's see if ChatGPT finishes. We'll click Run and see what happens. Click.
So this right here is the same feature as Claude Artifact. After you put in the code and or interact with Claude in artifacts, you can deploy your artifacts. Here is the same thing. Now you can run your code.
Run, and it looks like right away, actually, we see that label is not defined. So ChatGPT was correct about that. We see the exception. And right away, anything in the console is shown to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT sees this exception, and it actually leaves a comment on it. And it looks like this corroborates what ChatGPT expected in the
because
chat.
label is not a valid function in matplotlib. You might likely use title instead. This is great. I feel like I'm always trying to learn new libraries, and this is exactly the kind of error I get all the time, just like forgetting the API for something. And it's pretty amazing that it just picked that out right away.
Yeah, and just like comments in the document, there's a fix bug button to let ChatGPT fix it for you. So when I click fix bug, we show ChatGPT the exception and your code, and it's able to edit the canvas to make that correction. That was pretty fast, so maybe we want to see like exactly what ChatGPT changed.
Yeah.
And there's this great show changes button in the canvas header. Clicking that will give you an inline diff that should be familiar to people who use Git to show you exactly what changes were made.
That's cool. And show changes works not just for code, but for documents as well.
Exactly. Yeah, works across both of the editors. So now that we have this fix in place, we can try clicking run to see if it works now. And wow, that was fast.
It's really fast.
Have our line chart now rendering in the console.
So can you explain a little bit about exactly what happened? Because that Python execution happened very quickly.
Yeah, so within Canvas, we actually load a WebAssembly Python emulator, which allows us to load almost any Python library and run your code almost instantly. So you get immediate feedback. You can collaborate with ChatGPT effortlessly and really have a tight feedback cycle all within ChatGPT.
Including generating graphics.
Including generating graphics. So Santa particularly is interested in some Sankey flow diagrams to kind of track how toys are flowing through his...
Sankey, those are the ones where there's like arrows in and arrows out.
Honestly, I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Santa asked me for this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn.
He's always challenging us.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT to add a Sankey flow diagram for Santa's toys. Please use appropriate colors. See if we get something Santa themed.
Interesting.
So ChatGPT is going to go through and edit our code again, and now it's adding example 2, a Sankey diagram. Cool, so we got total toys, delivered to children, distributed to stores, defective.
Okay, so it's added a handful of lines of code, creating a Sankey, adding data, finishing it, and then saying show.
Yeah, let's try running this. Oh no, looks like there's been a problem with the colors, but ChatGPT has an idea of how to fix that. Use a single color per flow.
Let's try it.
Let's try it.
This is kind of awesome because this is exactly what happens when I'm trying to learn something new. Is I will go search for example code, I'll run it, it inevitably won't quite work, and then I will try again, and then go through this loop and try to read the inscrutable Python errors and figure it out for myself.
Ooh, there we go.
All right, looks like maybe Matplotlib has some bugs in its Sankey layout, but we got a graphic, so there we go.
We got a graphic, and we can keep refining this with ChatGPT, even dragging this image into the prompt area if you want to show ChatGPT exactly what this image looks like. Help refine.
So that function where it help you fix the bug, I don't believe that's something that Claude has right now. This is more like if you're working with GPT Engineer or Bolt, all of these AI coding platforms have had the ability to fix your code for a long time now. However, this is the first time I see straight out of the box, like going into the chat interface of ChatGPT or Claude, you see the ability to just hit a button for the LLM or the AI to fix your code for you. This is very interesting.
So those are some of the new programming features in Canvas.
Amazing. All right, there's one last thing that I want to show, and that is bringing Canvas into custom GPTs. So GPTs, in case you're not familiar, are a way to give ChatGPT custom instructions, custom context, and a lot of really distinct and specific behavior to whatever particular task that you have at hand. And then you can share them with other people so they can benefit as well. There's a GPT store full of these things. They're really interesting. And I decided to make one for Santa. You know, Santa gets all these letters and he has to respond to all of them. And I figure that's got to be a lot of work. And it might be helpful if you just had, you know, just like a first draft, something to start with. He could decide if he likes it or didn't like it. He could edit it. He could go from there and then send on his.
So you're also part of North Pole operations.
I can neither.
Both of you.
I can neither confirm nor deny this.
All right. If Santa comes out with a frontier model, I'm going to be very suspicious.
So, Alexi, I happen to notice that you wrote your letter to Santa and left it out on your desk.
Oh, I meant to mail that already. I can't believe you found it.
Yeah. Well, I snapped a picture of that, and I figure maybe we could use that as a bit of an example here. So let's bring that, if I can figure out how my mouse works. OK, there we go. So we've got our picture into ChatGPT. Let's open it up.
Let's see what he's asking for. A new bike, H100 GPU, some dark matter.
Okay. Real quick, just to get a look.
A bike, a GPU, and some dark matter.
That tracks.
All right.
Yeah, that's Lexi right there.
That looks like my letter.
Okay. You know, I also figure Santa has some context on, you know, whether you've been naughty or nice. That's, you know, one of the things that he keeps track of. And in addition to taking a picture of the letter, we probably want to add that in. So I'm going to let Santa Drafter know that Lexi's been nice this year.
Really appreciate that, Lee.
Yeah. OK, Alexi has been nice this year. So let's send this off to our custom GPT. And hopefully we'll get back a canvas. All right, here's our custom GPT starting to write out our letter.
Nice.
It says, Dear Alexi, ho, 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 thank you for your letter. I put a big smile on my rosy cheeked face. Let's see, what do we have here? First off, a new bike. Excellent choice. All right, looks like you're getting that bike.
Great.
H100 GPU, Mrs. Claus tells me it's quite the powerhouse running AI models. The elves in the tech workshop are tinkering away on that one for you as well, so that's promising. And dark matter, Santa's admitting that might even beyond his capabilities in the toy factory. So it sounds like maybe you shouldn't get your hopes up for that one.
Yeah, I don't know how you put that one in a stocking either, so.
But this is a pretty great first draft. And, Santa could come in here and change this up as much as he wants, make edits as much as he wants, and then as soon as he's ready, write this out in his characteristic handwriting style and send this letter back out to you. Hopefully this will save Santa some time. And so, we should talk a little bit about what's actually happening here. You might have noticed that I didn't click the canvas button. I didn't mention to create a canvas. It just made a canvas. So this is an example of ChatGPT determining that canvas would be the right thing to do. But I had to know to do that.
Yeah.
Well, when I built this custom GPT, I put that in the custom instructions. So do you guys want to see how I made this?
Yeah, could you show?
Yeah,
please.
So if we go up here into the GPT, excuse me, and hit Edit, and that should take us to the configuration page. So this is how you set up a GPT. It's really pretty straightforward. You can get a picture and a name and a description so people in the store, if you choose to share it, can see what it's about. The important part here is the instructions. So I wrote here.
So his instruction is that you are a tool for Santa to help write first draft responses in Canvas to the letter he gets. Okay, so right there he mentioned once to use Canvas, and then at the end, your job is to write responses to letters which will be provided using the Canvas tool. Once again, he mentioned Canvas. So looks like it's pretty easy. All of the custom GPTs, if you want to have it open up in Canvas, all you need to do is update that in the configuration or in the prompt right here.
You're a tool for Santa to help write first draft responses in Canvas to the letters that he gets. Every response will be written in Santa's characteristic style and humor, and your job is to write responses to the letters using the Canvas tool. So in the instructions, I told it to use the Canvas tool, so I'm going to expect that it will use Canvas pretty much to every thing that I put in there, which is exactly what I want this to do. That's going to be the right tool. In addition to that, down here at the bottom is a list of checkboxes on your capabilities. So this is the set of tools in ChatGPT that are available in GPTs. And there's the new one here, Canvas, which is starting as we roll out today, will be on by default for new GPTs. Existing GPTs, we're going to leave this off. That way we don't disrupt the behavior of any existing GPTs that people have created. But if you want to add Canvas to your existing GPT, very easy to do that. You just go into this configuration screen. You'll see that checkbox, and you can check it. And then you'll have Canvas available in your GPT.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this is Canvas. That's the handful of things we wanted to show you today.
So that was very useful. Canvas allows us to interact with ChatGPT in a way that we weren't able to before. I've been able to use Canvas for some time now. What's changed is the ability to use it in custom GPT. That is going to be wild because a lot of custom GPTs right now, when you interact with it, let's say you are writing a resume or writing a press release. When you make a change, it spit out the entire new thing after incorporating with your feedback. Now you can just highlight the sections that you want or just have it interact with you like an assistant, like a true co-pilot. So we have gone through 4 days of OpenAI's 12 days of shipments. We are a third of the way through. I cannot wait until I see the rest of the tools that their team is going to be releasing over the next few days, especially tools that will help entrepreneur and business owners out. In the first 4 days, we have seen the release of the full O1 model, the release of Sora, the release of Canvas to everyone, and also in custom GPT. And then during day 2, they released something more for developer, which is the ability for us to train the O1 model with our own data. Now, that doesn't really apply to business owners like you and me. We're not that techy, not that advanced. This is actually priming us for 2025 and beyond. when we start to have access to powerful models that can think, that can reason, like the O1 model, and a powerful text to video generator like Sora, we're gonna see a lot more creativity. People are gonna be able to build wild and amazing things. I cannot wait to see what people will ship. Now, let me know in the comment, what are you most excited for? Is it the O1 model? Is it Canvas? Is it Sora? Are you going to upgrade to the Pro tier? I would love to know what you're gonna do. Leave that in the comment, just let me know. Also, if you love this video, I would appreciate it a lot if you could like the video, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help out the algorithm. And also, YouTube picked out this video for you coming up because they think it's the best fit for you. Don't go anywhere, click on that video, and I'll see you in the comment.